Problem 15. For positive real numbers a and b, we have the property given below. We're given that all four terms on the left are positive integers, where log denotes base 10 logarithm. We're trying to find what a times b is. So first of all, how do we approach this question? Well, first of all, let's try to address that they're all positive integers. That means log base of a has to equal b. It cannot be a fraction or anything else. So with this information, let's assume something. We know that log, well, not assume, let's just derive it. So that's equal to half of log a, right? And then from there, we know that log a, the square root of log a, has to equal a real quantity. So let's call it equal to, I don't know, let's call it x. If that's the case, then log of a is equal to x squared, which makes sense. So that means that this must equal to half of x squared. So half of x squared, what does this tell you? This tells you that if this is equal to a whole number, x squared has to have a multiple of 2 in it. So if we were to deconstruct x, that would just be 2 times b squared for some other value of b. So if we have this value, then that means we know that x is equal to 2b. And how can we implement this further? Well, if x is equal to 2b, then that means log of a is equal to 4b squared. And since this is just base 10, 10 to the 10 will get rid of the log and get a is equal to 10 of 4b squared. So that means we have a. A is 10 to the 4b squared. And that goes the same for b. Or I should not use b. Let's call it, I don't know, let's call it x, right? So 4x squared. B will be the same, 10 to the 4y squared. So if we were to resubstitute everything back in, then we get the square root of log base of 10 to the 4y squared, plus the likewise for x, so, log base of 10, 4x squared, plus log square root of a, which is log of square root, so half of log 10, 4x squared, plus half of log 10, 4y squared. So it gets a little messier, so let's actually simplify stuff. So we know that this is equal to 4y squared. And 4y squared, take the square root, well, that's just 2y. So 2y. And that goes for 2x, and the same goes for half of 4x squared. And if I were to scroll to the right, plus half of 4y squared has to equal to 100. So we simplified it to this point. What can we do? What can we do from here? Well, we can say that 2y plus 2x plus half, or 2x squared plus 2y squared is equal to 100. So in other words, y plus x squared plus y squared is equal to 100 times half, because we factor out the 2, which is equal to 50. So in other words, we have x of x plus 1 plus y of y plus 1 is equal to 50. So given this information, how do we approach it from there? Well, each of them has to be less than 25, because 25 times 2 is 50 is the largest that we can go. So that means that x times x plus 1 has to be somewhere within that range. So for given values of x and y, how do we find the value? Well, x could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no more. So that could be, if I were to say this is x plus 1, obviously that's 2, 3, sorry about that, 4, 5, 6, which means that x of x plus 1 would obviously give you what? It would give you 2, 6, 12, 20, 30. Let's try y. So y has symmetry. So y times y plus 1 would be the same. So which two quantities can add up to 50? So we have to choose two of them. Well, obviously 20 and 30. That just jumps out at you immediately. So that means x times x plus 1 could equal 20, and y of y plus 1 is equal to 30. Doesn't matter which one you choose, because again, there's symmetry. So if I were to have this quantity, we can solve for x. X squared plus x minus 20 is equal to 0. So x minus 4 times x plus 5. And we're trying to find the positive value, so x is equal to 4. And that's found right here, so I don't even need to do that. Y would just be equal to 5. So with this following information, we are trying to find what? We're trying to find a times b. Well, a times b, a and b in this case, what is a? A, where is it? A is equal to 10 to the 4x squared. X, what is it? X is equal to 4, y is equal to 5. So let's put that here. X is 4, y is 5. So that's just 10 times 4 to the 4 times 16. And b is just 10, 4 times 25, which is just 10 to the 100, and that's 10 to the 64. So what is 10 to the 64 times 10 to the 100? Well, that's just 10 to the 100 plus 64, which gives 10 to the 164, bringing you to answer choice D.